What? Why did it do that? Okay.
Why did it do what?
Now we're officially recording.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
yeah. Welcome
That's
to
fine.
Chicago Book Club, second episode of the November month. I'll just have these
I think
stories
it's
pulled up.
episode, what is it?
Oh, 11?
15?
Ooh. I was
No, no,
I
we're
was
over that.
I was off.
The last time, we did Julie last time. I wonder if I wrote,
Mm.
um, because sometimes in my book no, I didn't write it. Sometimes in my book, when we go back to an author, I write the number of the week next to the author,
Yeah, yeah.
like the second time we went to him. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that
So
last time. So the last one I have is Ray Bradbury.
we're gonna have. So you're saying that it's gonna be like this little check marks, like cross, like check cross the tally marks on these authors. It might go up to. It might be a lot of tallies.
It might be. It might
Yeah.
be. But that's why I'm buying the books, the
Yeah.
collections of the
Yeah.
people we revisit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I know I said I was going to stop, but I had to buy something for the pirate party I'm going to for New Year's.
Oh, I see.
Um and I don't like buying just one thing from Amazon because it seems like such a waste. So I found a book of short stories by Ray Bradbury. So I got that as well.
Oh, good.
So I'm gathering these authors, their collections of short stories.
What is it? Is it the Library of Congress has with the
Library of
black
America.
Library of America with the black covers and have the same font? I know that.
Yeah, so I was gonna get that one for Ray Bradbury, but then I saw one that had really nice typography on the front, and I
Yeah.
went with that one.
Yeah.
Because it had the word Bradbury all in kind of red on a red cover, but like you could see it, or like orange
Okay.
on an orange cover, like a different color orange.
Yeah.
But then within Ray Bradbury, Ray was in white. So it said Ray. It's really pretty. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I like that they, Library of America does that. I think that it's like that uniformity with the design, and
Hmm.
they make it affordable. And I just think I tend not to buy those editions. I maybe check it out if I rent it, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, and plus it's like Bible
I
paper. It's so thin.
It is so thin, and I like
Yeah,
to be able to
like
highlight.
yeah,
But I have the Ursula K. Le Guin that she has one. One of her books came
mm-hmm.
out in the Library of America style. So I have one of them. They are really nice. And
Yeah.
I like them because even though they're hardbacks, they still are lightweight enough that I don't feel like I'm lugging a brick.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they're big. They're big. So, anyways, uh, I was generally. Oh, that's good. Krober was saying I was just gently asked to review a short story for a local contest. I chickened out. Yeah, I like to. I rather do a review than write one myself. Honestly,
Yeah.
I love I post in the Discord if anybody's interested. I do a lot of I do another book club for Goodreads, but I always write like reflections. I like writing reviews. I like reading reviews. I get a lot of my stuff because of reviews. So, um,
Mm.
but like yeah, I writing is the creative writing's like putting out your own content. That's I don't know. That seems I get a little. That's a whole other conversation. But anyways,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I want to talk about my shirt, that wonderful shirt I'm wearing that gets changed out. That stayed the same last week, but we managed to have a nice picture of a streamer that we refer to as Shoot by Daylight.
Cute.
Um, I like to refer to him as Shoot, and he's I met him through Bishop Tokyo, and they grew up together in Ohio. Both of them are very into a lot of stuff that I tend to play. A lot of the garage, 60s music, even the neo garage stuff. But they go a little bit harder into the 50s and 60s. The dirtier rock and roll, Hansel Atkins and those types of groups. Even like the solo artists.
I think
But
shoot goes all over actually.
yeah. But I'm talking about when I met them. I
Oh yeah.
as I got to know Shoot, I saw that he has very expansive taste. But when I met him, it was based like we were kind of linked. We're linked together by the earlier rock and roll groups, the Sonics and Stooges and things like that. And it's just good. It's a lot of people don't really that kind of that genre or that style is not always so pushed on the platform of Twitch. So it's great when you
Mm.
see someone who's doing it or creating they're DJing that style. It's you kind of pay attention because you go, oh wow, I never thought I would hear this here. I would this artist here, and so they do a lot of that, a lot of comps from the 50s, a lot of like novelty stuff, similar to what a Bishop plays. But he's a great streamer. He just started off. He's just got affiliated, which is congrats to him.
I think I saw his second stream ever
Yeah, yeah, that was
because I think he
yeah,
did a trash bash before I
yeah,
knew who he was. But
hmm
then I think his second trash bash, I saw his stream.
yeah,
So he was on right before you, I think.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's right. I did forget about that. Yeah, that was true. Um, but that's a and it's funny. Like we've so I've kept in because of Bishop. I met him, and then we talk a lot, and there's just good people, really nice people all around. But I really connected to, I think before the maybe around the same time, we connected with hot sauce, which is it's just something like people. I don't know. I tend to make my own hot sauce. I like to make salsas, and I love Mexican food. I love um what was it Thai food and all that. So we always talk about the spicy sauces and I would find stuff, and he actually mailed me a couple hot sauces that he was trying to maybe turn me on to, and I do the same thing. I mailed him some stuff that was produced in Florida locally. So we always go. We have this like hot sauce music connection, which is a lot of fun. He's excellent cook. Him and his wife are. I see pictures that he sends me. Like I cook, but I don't cook like that. Like he's on a different level. They do some. I think one day they want to do something along those lines, with food, like some kind of probably do something together, which I thought that was really cool.
Mm.
Open up some kind of maybe bed and breakfast type of thing. But they both, I know they cook. He cooks excellent. And just visually appealing too, which is like sometimes my problem because I'm just like, hey, it's
I was gonna
there.
say
He
you
is
never
like,
tried it. He could be lying to you.
oh no. I could tell through the screen. I go,
I
that
can
looks
tell.
that looks good. That looks good. Everything he makes is fire. So I know.
I remember when you started talking to him because you were like, I have a chili friend. I was like, okay, what does that mean?
I have a chili friend. It's like hot sauce discussions. This is great. I mean, I'm a little bit over the top with the hot sauce because, for half my life I could not eat hot food, not even table pepper. It would mess my stomach up. And then one day it all went away. I woke up one day, I ate some hot food, hot sauce, and it messed me up. I go, oh, it's on. It is on. I'm making up for all those years, and I went big. I started buying like independent sellers and and making my own and trying. I was like, give me the hottest thing in the menu. I want it. So like I consider Shoot part of that renaissance. Like I was like, I have a friend who could talk about spicy food. Oh, good. So so that's an outlet. But in terms of a streamer, he does recently he does a lot of different, not only garage and rockabilly and things like that, but he did like a hip hop set. We're all about the same age, so there is like a reference. We have a common reference to the '90s, whatever the alternative, what we consider alternative rock of the '90s. He kind of goes back there, and it's just cool when you have somebody or just anybody they grew up in the same era, and they like I used to go. My parents would talk about. I would play a random doo-wop song, and they would know all the words. And I was like, wow, how do you do that? And they were like, well, this is the stuff they play on the radio. But I see that now with friends, especially like when this, like my daughter may listen to Nirvana now and Smashing Pumpkins, but like if you grew up in the '90s, you know all the bands, like even the small bands, like the one-off singles and things, the stuff that maybe had maybe not the best run on modern rock radio, but like he always sends me something and says, "Oh yeah, check this out," and I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't heard this in 20 years, 25 years." So, but yeah, he's just an excellent streamer. He's has good taste, knows how to as a premium selector, and it's been. I want to make sure that people check him out, because you won't be disappointed. And and it's rare. It's rare to have a DJs like Bishop and Shoot. I mean, we have a lot of. We try to. I always push DJs who play different stuff. DJ 90 and Mark Dark, and naturally, they try. We play stuff that's not always. It's not the demographic on Twitch. So whenever we get a chance whenever I have a chance to see that or meet somebody, I always try to shout them out. But yeah, check out Shoot by Daylight, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't mention he works along. He does. He does production and sound. I think he went to school for film. So
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was another thing we connected on. This he has a lot of parallels with film, and he has he shot a lot of things. He does some commercials. It's really cool meeting someone in the industry involved. So, but yeah, go check him out. So
Okay. I have to be a graphic designer for a minute.
yeah.
Your muñeca is floating. You have to pull him back down.
What was that? Is that euphemism? What are you saying?
There's a white line under him, a gap between him and the edge. I know why you did it, but it looks like he's hovering.
Oh, hovering. No, we were talking about how's that?
Yeah, it'll take me a couple of minutes to see that. There, perfect.
Okay, I was covering up Shoot's face. We were talking about him. I didn't want him to be hidden by the bottom, but now we must the muñeca must be lowered. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't see it on my end. That's good catch. So, anyways,
sorry, I can't help it. It's there always.
Yeah,
graphic designer brain.
So you can't turn it off.
I can't turn it off.
What is the short and long this week?
Also, so just so you guys know, because you don't get to hear the inner workings of Itchy Quarter Book Club, but when I post the stories, Itchy says to me, "Are you sure you got the short and the long right? Are you sure they weren't swept the other way?" And I went back and looked at our chat when he told me what the stories would be, and he told me this way. So if anyone has a version where one of the stories is longer than the other story and it doesn't match ours,
this is the most
I'm very sorry. I just did what Itchy told me to do.
It's the most pedantic explanation ever. So you think I said I weighed the stories in one hand. I'm like, this one feels heavier.
Yeah.
This is a heavier story. Maybe not emotionally, but physically. It might be more words.
My
Yes.
beanie.
Yeah.
What beanie? I'm so confused.
A beanie. Someone said, Zim said in the chat, did your beanie shrink too? I don't know. Oh, is that a beanie? Oh, you saying, I don't know. I'm not sure what this means. Oh, my.
Oh my.
Oh. I see
Do you
that.
know, I've never worn a beanie. And I only in the last 4 years got the graphic designer glasses. So
Very cool. That's a great. Thanks, Sim, for the graphic humor.
thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so
Right. So
we're gonna talk
we're
about
gonna read Raymond Carver first.
good, awesome. That's the one I have in front of me right at this moment. So I've thought that is
And
the short. That is the short. We decided
that
upon.
is a short. There's not much in it though. This week there is not much in it. Raymond Carver was born in 1938. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear me. I have a cough drop because my throat has been a little rough today. He was born in the Pacific Northwest, which is the best part of America. I'm sorry, folks. It's just true. His, that's also where I was born. His father was a blue collar worker, and his mom also worked off and on. His father was a heavy drinker, and I think you'll see from
Yeah.
this story that
Yeah.
clearly affected him.
Yeah.
When he graduated high school, he joined his father working in a sawmill, and he was married at 19.
Wow, I didn't know that.
His wife was only 16. They had 2 kids, and Carver did various jobs. They eventually moved to California. He attended a community college and became interested in writing. Carver was an alcoholic. I mean, he was when he was alive, but he did manage to stop drinking after being hospitalized 3 times. He divorced in that time as well. Obviously, the drinking caused strain on the marriage. 6 weeks before his death to lung cancer, he married poet Tess Gallagher. He was 50. So he did not live a long life, but he wrote a lot in that time.
He did. And he worked as a professor in a couple colleges. I know he ran some workshops. But I feel like his work had really defined the 90s. There was a bit after. I feel this is in the writing, like creative writing workshops. There was, there it had a Raymond Carver effect. I think a lot of writers wanted to have that very terse prose, the realism, what they refer to as Kmart realism, which is about like maybe the Rust Belt, which is, and it makes sense. But a lot of a lot of shows came out that would maybe be a companion piece to a lot of his stories. You know, you would see, what was it? What was that show about the father who was a drunk? I can't think of the name. But like I feel like there's a lot of shows, a lot of Netflix series, and different streaming series that came out that you would see. Oh, Shameless, that's the show. I feel like that's a little more extravagant, but it's from that territory where it was just another side of the country, so to speak. The quieter epiphanies, people coming out like there were descendants of people who were in the silent generation, people that grew up thinking that you would never go to a psychologist, that would be some kind of, that was like they would never pay money for a psychologist, but so like they would go through their problems by themselves, and which could yield crazy results. People like, I always use the example of someone going, like, having some maybe internal dilemma, and then maybe making a a shed in their yard at 3 o'clock in the morning every day to do this, not knowing that like their motivation to make this shed has something to do with maybe the love of their father or their mother, or, like so it's like it comes out.
Yeah.
It's like that. What's that game you play with the gophers in the carnival? Like you hit one on the head, another one comes up.
Oh
Pops up.
yeah.
Yeah,
I knew what it was called until right now when you asked me.
There is a name for that. But that's how I always think. Like you just suppress this memory, and it's going to come up somewhere else. And they like when it comes, like they don't have the understanding nor the respect for. Like you don't divulge your information. Yeah, Zim said whack-a-mole. Yeah, that's true.
Whack-a-mole. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's like I always think that on a psychological standpoint. That a lot of people in the stories they don't know, they can't really put the pieces together of how they're feeling, but they're just going, their life is starting to react, or they have like they're very reactionary. They're suppressing emotions and they're coming up in other places, very similar to John Cheever, but it's from another. But John Cheever is more of the affluent, like the upper middle class. Like Carver is doing the same thing but in a lower class. So anyways, but yeah, I've read this a long time ago, and it was really cool to revisit this, especially this Quarter Book Club, to hear Shiny's perspective. But yeah, let's just go into it. So this was in the New Yorker, and what year was that? I think I'm not sure. I have to think about that. It was an earlier story in the New Yorker. That's where 1983, my birth year.
Wow. 83.
Wow.
Oh, this story is as old as you.
It is. Yes. Okay, so I guess you set the scene here, Shiny.
Well, we are in kind of bit of a wilderness area. And we are at a rehab clinic.
Yeah.
We have two men sitting on a front porch, JP and our narrator.
Yeah.
Who's
unnamed, correct?
I think he's unnamed, yeah.
Yeah.
JP is Joe Penny. JP is younger than the narrator.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of through the story get that impression. It's like the narrator's almost looking back at JP as a version of himself. Not that they're super alike, but he does kind of see how they both come from the same issue, which is alcoholism.
Yeah.
They've both they're both there at the rehab facility, obviously, to
dry out.
Yeah. It's not the narrator's first time.
No.
He's been there before.
Yeah.
And JP's telling the narrator's story about how he went into his line of work.
Yeah.
They've only been there a couple days, so they're still in the actual drying out process. They're not even
shaking.
Yeah, they've got the withdrawals and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. But they found some comfort in each other. Yeah. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that genuinely. Having someone to talk to. I think that's kind of something I got, especially in the first bit of the story.
Yeah. There's something about being in it's like being in rehab. You don't have, I guess, you could have airs about yourself, but at that point you've pretty much given up on the regular ward, given up on in terms of like you've admitted that you're just in society right now. You're not in the best shape to handle life.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a humbling effect where, okay, you're here, I'm here. We know we've hit rock bottom. So
Yeah, and I think for these two, even though it's the second time for the narrator, I think for these two, they've both come into it with a real hope for change this time.
yeah,
I get a bit of hope from both of them,
yeah,
which is often unusual. I know for the narrator, it's his choice to be there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
And there's also like
and
characters within the story that are like you see different kinds of people in rehab. You have the person there that doesn't think they
yes,
should be there. Then you
no,
have them,
exactly.
whether you have this like very contemplative time
Hmm.
there, a humbling experience, no, hopeful, and then the
Yeah.
people who are in denial. So it's good.
And
I
that's
like
not to
that. Yeah,
say it's not to say these guys are, perfect, wonderful, don't have their faults.
yeah,
They absolutely do. But I think in this moment when we're meeting them, these two guys in particular are trying.
yeah,
They're
yeah, yeah,
trying.
yeah, yeah. So they
And,
have they have a situation that like they're so it's right, they're talking, but all of a sudden there is an event that happens there that takes their attention away from each other. Somebody has a seizure.
hmm
The guy,
Tiny.
yeah, the guy they call Tiny. Um, Obviously, it's to plan his parents. Um,
Um, yeah, and Tiny's he has the seizure as he's telling them some of the like crazy ass shit he's done while
yeah,
drunk.
yeah, and he just, he's in the middle of this explanation. He goes down,
Yeah.
and people are,
Eh, I think it's interesting because the narrator says we've all done things just as bad and crazy. So they're laughing about it. They wouldn't they wouldn't laugh at him if it wasn't themselves. They're not laughing at him in a mean way. They're laughing at the stories because they've been there, they've done that.
yeah, yeah. It's like there's a leveling, I guess, with the people there. It's like I said, there's no airs. People know that they've been there. This is so there's almost like a freedom of like, oh, you did something horrible. Okay, let me tell you about my
Hmm.
life. Like what if, and it's like sometimes I think in that the process of like revealing all that stuff, people tend to it allows people to be more accepting of themselves because they may see here's
Hmm.
someone who has gone through something worse. So I think it has a positive effect. Like, oh, I thought I was bad, but this other person had it worse. They got lost their job, they lost their family. At least I have my family still.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he has that seizure, and it does something to him too. Like um he gets rushed to the hospital and then comes back the following day or something, and
Yeah.
it's like I feel like he's a bit shell shocked from the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
for a guy,
they keep
rambunctious guy,
mentioning
yeah,
old Tiny and
yeah, yeah.
and now he's
It reminds me a little bit of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when they
mm,
go for the shock treatment and they come back and they're just different to the world. They're different. I mean, they are different because they got shock treatment, physically different, but they make it a little more cagey. He's not as no, he's not as this jovial presence anymore. He is this kind of more to himself. So it had an effect on him. But it's just, I mean, this is this kind of stuff in rehab. People OD in rehab. People, they have, they have episodes. So this is common.
hmm hmm
Um, so so them like so they keep talking, and what is it JP, like he learns about JP's life.
Yeah, Jay, so the narrator seems to be starving for a story.
Yeah,
Like
anything,
he's
yeah.
in rehab, he wants to be taken care, he wants to get better, but he's bored. You know,
Yeah.
Getting better is a little boring to him. So he wants to hear about JP's life.
Yeah, something that I mean,
And
as much as they maybe feel comfortable being there, I still think the realization of being there is quite depressing. Like they want to get well, but they also whenever they're waking up, it's a reminder that they messed up.
hmm hmm
Yeah,
and yeah, we. we get to hear the story about JP as a 12-year-old boy falling in a well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was there for quite some time before his dad got him out to
Yeah.
the point where it mentioned specifically he wet his pants down there. So he was down there for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
He'd had a lot of terror. He was hollering for help. No one was coming. He was hoarse by the time it was over.
Yeah.
But it made a lasting impression on him.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily the bad one of the trauma, but also, looking up at the mouth of the well so far away, kind of, this circle of blue sky. And it kind of like gave him this different view for a minute.
This is maybe a life could be snatched away quick without maybe a feeling of appreciation, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he pauses because JP seems to be quite contemplative.
Yeah.
He's telling these stories, but he's kind of going into himself as he's telling these stories. And the narrator's like, no, keep talking. I need more.
Yeah.
So that's how JP transitions into pretty much the story of his adult life, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's pretty all encompassing. You have
because he starts when he's 18 or 19. Yeah. So he's officially an adult when the rest of his story continues.
Yeah.
And it starts with drinking already. He's drinking with a friend at his friend's house, and the doorbell rings. And I just want to read this description because it was so good. So the friend goes to the door. This young woman, chimney sweep, is there with her cleaning things. She's wearing a top hat, the sight of which knocked JP for a loop. And I just thought that was it.
Yeah. Like, again, she is a chimney sweep. Okay. I was like, when I read
literally, that's her job.
Yeah, that's her job. Like, I think that's what they called her. I don't think her name is that, but it was. No.
Her name's Roxy.
Roxy, but she is, which I think they still have these things. Chimney sweeps.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because they're still chimneys. They still need to be cleaned. So, yeah, not like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins though. Don't have that.
So he's right away. It seems like he's pretty enamored by her presence.
Yeah, the top hat's all it took. He was was sold.
It was almost like it was an exotic thing. Like she probably because maybe he expected a man to come through the door, but it was like this very attractive woman doing this.
Yeah,
and there's like sitting. I think there was like a lot of guilt because like they're perfect. These young able dudes hanging around drinking while this very attractive woman is going to go into the chimney and do this hard labor, and they're like this watching her.
It's dirty work, right?
It's
sooty up there. She's gonna come out probably and it talks about how she's wearing all black.
Yeah,
because
it's not. Yeah, you wear white, you're just gonna look like
you wear white. You're gonna
look like a thunderstorm when you get down.
Totally. So, Roxy does her job.
Yep.
And then she asks the friend, the one whose house it is, if he wants a kiss, because apparently a kiss from a chimney sweep is good luck.
I never heard that.
The friend, huh?
I didn't know that. I always thought when I read that, I thought it was odd that she was the initiator of this. Like maybe I think Raymond Carver had that thing where there's a lot of implication. I think she noticed that they were admiring her, and
it's possible, yeah. And if she's around the same age as them, we don't really know exactly what the friend and JP look like at that moment, but maybe they were attractive,
or maybe she just liked. Like a Blanche and Streetcar Named Desire. Maybe she just liked to be. Yeah. She liked to be in a position where she's admired by young people, young men, or just admired in general. And she likes to have that power.
That's possible too.
So, it's like she does this. He's like, oh, I'm gonna a kiss from a chimney sweep is good luck. It's
Well,
like,
and it says that does it for JP. Like, if the top hat got him hooked, now
yeah, no,
he's never leaving.
yeah, yeah. But she kisses the friend first, not JP.
Yeah, no, she kisses him, like the friend kisses her on the cheek actually.
Okay.
Um and JP sees that and he's like, "Right. I'm gonna I have now made up my mind. This is gonna happen." So he says, "Me too." And she looks over at him, and he's, a bundle of excitement. And she says, "Sure." She said, but she kisses him and she kisses him on the lips.
Mm,
And then she turns to go. It's not like a
make
deep
out.
kiss, it's just a kiss on the lips. But then she turns to go and JP's not ready to let her go. So he follows her out, helps her with her stuff to the car,
Yeah.
helps her put it, or the van. He helps her put it in the van. And then he makes his move and says he wants to hang out more and, maybe go to the movies. And so she gives him her card and says, after 10 p.m. call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, JP kind of falls off the story and the narrator's like, no, 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 keep going. He's
Yeah.
really into it.
Well, I think it also. I mean, I think it alludes to his like always wanting to be present. Like,
Yeah.
like him in the well. He's like, don't, like, you don't know if you're gonna get stuck in the well and die. Might as well take advantage
Yeah.
of the opportunity. So I think I have the impression that he lives like for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it was interesting because JP didn't just decide he wanted to spend time with this girl. He also decided he really wanted to be a chimney sweep.
Yeah, like it inspired
And
her. Inspired him to want to do that work. And then we found out that she is like a part of a family that does this. Like this
yes,
is like
a
her
family
family
of chimney sweeps.
Yeah, like
But there's one line that I wanted to point out. It's for the narrator says, I was, after he tells JP to keep going, he says, "I was interested, but I would have been interested if he'd been going on about how one day he decided to start pitching horseshoes." So he really doesn't care what JP is talking about. He just wants the story. He just wants something to listen to, it seems like.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's a good observation. Like that, he's kind of baiting JP to keep on going. More for maybe it just makes him forget about his situation. We don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like that.
Yeah.
But so going back to the Nesta story, he wants to be a chimney sweep. The family of this Roxy's family is a little bit apprehensive about this guy. That this seems to
They're worried about him.
Came out of nowhere and wants to date the daughter and the
Be part of the
sister,
family
be
business.
part of the family business. I don't know. I would have my reservations as well. Like, who is this? It's like some
I absolutely would.
con artist. Yeah.
It's just quite, be wary of that kind of thing.
If I was, what if you said like you meet somebody and you maybe you're, like you're a teacher and then you meet somebody and they're like, "Hi, I really like you, and I want to do what you do at your school." Like I would be like, "Run, get out." Like, I like you so much that I want to be you. And
I guess I wouldn't trust it.
I wouldn't trust it at all. I was like, wow.
Do you like me or do you just want to take my life?
Yeah. Do you want to become me?
Do you want to replace me? What's going on?
Identity theft.
But Roxy and JP get married.
Yeah,
they get married. They have a couple of kids.
Yeah, it works out.
Roxy stops working to have the children, so JP takes over her role with the family business.
Mm-hmm. And he's good. He's good. He does.
Yeah, he says he was happy with his life.
Yeah.
He doesn't, he was happy with the way things are going. He had everything he wanted.
Yep.
He had a wife and kids he loved, and he was doing what he wanted to do with his life.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he started drinking.
Yeah, I get that. Being a drinker myself.
And
even when things are good, you're like, yeah, it's party.
Yeah, let's party.
Let's
And
celebrate
he says
the happiness.
for a long time he drinks beer and beer only. You
Yeah.
know, it's just easy stuff. He's not a hardcore drinker. He's not
Yeah.
trying to get blackout drunk.
No, not yet.
He's just having a beer.
Yeah.
But then no reason, things are still going well. He switches from beer to gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes the way gin and tonic taste, you know. And I, as someone who, when I didn't know what to drink, somebody handed me a gin and tonic, and I was like, actually, I love this. So,
Mm.
you know, there is something. It's not just about the alcohol always. Sometimes you like the taste, but
Yeah.
he starts having more.
Yeah.
He has one every night in front of the TV. Then he has them before dinner.
Yeah, his
Then
drinking life starts to, if maybe at one time the drinking was like maybe like 20% of the day, it starts to become, now it seems like it's like 60% of his day.
Yeah.
And the rest is him doing work or being a father and
Well, and
a worker.
it gets to the point where he's taking a thermos of vodka to work. You know,
it escalates.
that's not normal.
No.
That's not normal.
And then also leaving work early, like kind of ditching some appointments. So it's like now it's starting to encroach on his life. People are noticing, including Roxy.
And he and Roxy start fighting. And it's not like, I don't want to belittle the fact that he hits his wife, but she hits him first and breaks his nose. Mm-hmm. So like, they're proper fighting. This isn't just a one-sided abuse thing. This is both of them going after each other.
And this kind of fighting, we have to also, I'm not like this, like I said, it's not to justify stuff, but Roxy is not like this it's not this lanky. She works in chimneys. Her hands are strong. She's like has probably more masculine qualities in terms, like she's very like, to do that kind of work you need to have.
Yeah, I get the impression she's a strong,
like, physically
she's strong in body.
Yeah. So these are fights, like they're fighting, but I'm like I think that she could kill him. I got the impression that she had that advantage, or maybe maybe she broke. She broke his nose first, but I'm like thinking too, like But
then he split her lip and dislocated her shoulder, so they're trading.
And you're
injuries.
Does it go back to the Carver's world? This is back. We have to say, like, this is in a small town, and she has brothers, and maybe this is the way she handled altercations. She had these two brothers. It was like the only girl in the woman in the family, and like
I think she had only one brother.
Oh, one brother. Okay, well,
but it's her father and her brother are the ones who run the company.
I got the impression that that's how she handles disputes. So it was like if she struck him first.
And they beat each other in front of the kids as well.
Yeah,
like they're having these fights in front of the kids, and things get out of hand for sure. But JP doesn't stop drinking.
No.
And nothing can make him stop drinking. Roxy's dad and brother are threatening to beat the crap out of him. They're telling Roxy to take the kids and go. And again, this speaks to who Roxy is. She says it was her problem. She got herself into it. She'd solve it.
Yeah.
And you can tell as JP's telling this story that it's having an effect on him. He's kind of shrinking into himself a little bit. This part of the story is not comfortable for him.
Yeah.
But the narrator keeps prodding him on. I want to hear more.
You better keep talking.
And JP's really struggling. He doesn't know if he wants to keep talking. But, it's also a safe space for him to talk about these things. Nobody's going to judge him because they've all been there. Maybe not the very specific circumstances, but they've all been in a way in this situation.
And I think that it's the narrator is, I want to say using JP, but there's something about his 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 wanting to keep for the JP to keep going, it's doing something to him. I think he's juxtaposing this situation with his own life, and it's making him
Mm-hmm.
feel better. But I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like at the expense of your friend here, this gentleman who's also in this rehab, like you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
making him go through emotional, like you're making him go through the emotions himself, so you feel better. I always thought that was
Yeah.
a little bit self centered of the narrator, like keep no, you gotta keep on
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
I don't know the motivation.
you could take it one or two ways though, because at some point JP has to face this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, so you're thinking?
And
Well, he is the
so
narrator is older, and he's
maybe
like he's making hey,
yeah,
you gotta face this at one time. He's actually doing him a
yeah.
favor by making
Maybe.
sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if it's too soon for him. He's only been there a couple of days, but he talks about it at the start willingly. So maybe the narrator's like, yes, there's some selfishness in there he wants to hear, but maybe there's a little bit of it'll also be kind of good for him.
Yeah.
You know,
The
just
face his
because there is
fears.
a selfish motive doesn't mean there isn't also an altruistic one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Right. See, that's what Shiny always reminds me that my pessimistic views in society sometimes. That's true. I
I
have
don't
to.
think that's true. I'm the catastrophizer.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I in these stories I get a little wary about people's intentions. But anyway, so
Mm.
let's keep going. So it gets worse. Uh,
Yeah, he can't do his job anymore. He's drunk all the time. He can't drive.
yeah,
Roxy gets a boyfriend.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think it's interesting because he's like, I don't know how she found the time, and the narrator reveals something of himself. I think because he says, if you want to do that, you find the time, you make the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that before, but that's a good detail, important detail, because you don't get anything from the narrator at this point about his life.
No,
JP's
we
is
will, but we don't have it
at
yet.
this point, yeah. Um, so and
So
then so things
yeah,
change the perspective again. We you know
we
we kind of learn about
we
Frank
come back
Martin.
into the presence about Frank Miller or Frank Martin's.
Frank Martin is the Betty Ford, I guess. Or I
Yeah.
would maybe Betty Ford was a benefactor, but I mean Frank it was it's Frank
No, I
Martin's
think Betty Ford also needed drying out, I believe.
No. I meant like is Frank Martin. I didn't know. I was like made a comment
Oh,
about Betty Ford. So like
I
Betty
don't
Ford
know.
worked at
No,
whatever
no, no, no,
facility.
no,
Okay,
no. Frank
yeah,
Frank was possibly someone who needed this service, but also decided to start
yeah.
this
Well,
place, and
yeah.
he actually
It's
runs
more
it.
like yeah. I didn't know if it was like I made the improper. I thought Betty Ford was ran a clinic herself, but probably maybe she might have been some rich person or some benefactor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
anyways, like so,
yeah.
Frank Martin runs the rehab. Okay, he is his thing.
Hmm.
He screens everybody coming in, coming out. He takes a lot of pride in
Hmm. They're
in
not locked up.
they're not
That's very
yeah they have a lot
important.
they have a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
He gives everyone the benefit of the doubt. So you kind of have his like how, he comes into the story in what way, Shiny? Is he just like going into the conversation? Or are they talking about him?
Well, the setup is that we're hearing how the narrator came to be at Frank Martin's. So,
Oh, okay.
he's talking about Frank Martin's place more than Frank Martin at this point, where he says, they weren't locked up. It was suggested that they stay at least a week. So it's
Mm.
kind of like putting
He has no contract.
the
No one's telling
onus
us.
on them.
Yeah.
He says, look, you need at least a week. Probably 2 weeks or a month would be better. But like, we're just going to strongly advise that. You have to make the decision to stay here.
Hmm.
Um, and we find out that absolutely this was the decision of the narrator. However, the way he did it is ridiculous because he says that he shows up and he's trying to sign a check to pay in advance for his week stay. And, Frank Martin says to him, the holidays are always bad. Like he's backslid at a time when it's kind of common for people to backslide.
Yeah.
And he said, he said because of that though, Frank's like, maybe you should think about a little longer this time. Stay here longer. Let's really try to sort you out. His girlfriend is the one who dropped him off. He walks her to the door and she drives away in his car. He's drunk when he arrives, but so is his girlfriend. So she drives off drunk in his car.
Yeah. Really
and there's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, he sits down and that's him there. And then it's later that afternoon that JP's brought in, hung between two guys. It's his father-in-law and his brother-in-law. That he finds that out afterwards. And they bring him in, and their vibe is so like, we just want to get out of here. We're doing this thing because we have to do this thing, but we don't want to hang around.
Yeah, they're not vouching. They're not sitting there with talking to Frank Martin and going, oh, we just want him to we want him to the best. Or they're like, listen,
no, they're like, handle this guy because he's been a problem for us.
Handle this guy before I kill him. Kind of vibe, yeah.
And it's a day and a half later that JP and the narrator are sitting on the porch together, and this story is going on. Frank does walk up to them at this point. He's smoking a cigar, so he comes out on the porch to smoke his cigar. And he says to them that Jack London used to have a place on the other side of the valley where they're located. And he says, you guys want to read something while you're here, read that book of his, The Call of the Wild.
Yep.
You know the one I'm talking about. We have it inside if you want to read something. It's about this animal that's half dog and half wolf. End of sermon. And I've read Call of the Wild. I actually loved it. I read it when I was quite young. I was just like, it's a story about a wolf dog. I love it. Let's read it.
But also like it's analogous to maybe I feel like he uses that reference
the
as a
half dog.
like he's like, you right now you may feel half rabid because of your behavior. So
you're this wild wolf beast that can't be contained, but you're actually a domesticated dog. You just need to get yourself back to that. He
leans into that excuse me, he leans into that story with, I think, with I'm assuming with all new arrivals.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna look at that house over there. It's like something that he would probably says a million times to all these people.
Yeah, and JP doesn't. He's not. I think our narrator maybe has a kinder heart towards Frank because he's been there before. But JP feels like he's watched when he's around. He's like, I feel like a bug when he's around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but in the JP's new. The narrator's been there before.
Yeah. But we jump back to the narrator again.
Yeah.
He says that his wife brought him to Frank Martin's the first time. So now we know that he had a wife, but now he has a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And Frank said to him when he got there, we can help you if you want help and want to listen to what we say. So again, it's putting the responsibility on the person who's come into the situation. He's not forcing anything on anybody.
No, but there's a reverse psychology happening. Frank's I think that he's a pretty bright individual. He knows how, if people are going to change, it's not going to be from him, it's going to be themselves. And so he has this I bet Frank Martin would be a good manager to have. Whereas he would not, he wouldn't be a micromanager at all.
No, but it'd be like, oh wow, you're a parent. I don't know for your child, but for me, if somebody told me they were disappointed in me, that was so much worse than them being angry. And I feel like Frank's got that. He's got that energy.
Yeah. Stress Press said Frank had that big if. There is help if you want it. Yeah, that it was he emphasizes if. It's like he's not threatening or anything. He's just kind of he's putting it on, like you said, putting it on the person, saying like, hey, if you wanna go out and go into the world, if the door is right there, have at it. I'm just letting you know that
Yeah.
some people just don't. You may not come back to a life that you want. If the people you left that or kicked you out see that you haven't changed, you may this
Mm.
may be your only home with me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that.
But I think it's the only way sometimes to
Yeah,
help people.
yeah. You gotta help yourself.
Um,
Don't be a
because
victim.
alcoholism is a disease. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but just like any disease, even if I broke my leg, I have to want to go to the doctor to get it
yeah.
fixed.
Yep,
So it's the same thing, you know.
yep.
Alcoholism is a disease, but you have to want to go get it treated. Um,
Yeah. So going back to we learn more about the narrator. Uh,
yeah, his girlfriend. He
it's
lives with his girlfriend.
yeah,
She has a mouthy teenage son. And what set him off on this drinking was that she went in. This cracked me up that it just popped out of nowhere, this thing. She went in before Christmas to get a pap smear, and the news was not cheery. So we don't know if she has cancer. I
yeah,
think maybe she does because it says she has to go back to the doctor real soon. Um, but they both just turned to drinking
yeah,
because this is bad news. They're not happy. You know, they start drinking when she gets the news, and they're still drinking straight through
yeah.
till New Year's.
And also maybe it's not stated that I'm thinking that the first wife or his wife not is more of like not doesn't do that. Like he went
No,
he changed the environment so he could be around someone who's like an enabler.
possibly.
It seems
I
like
think
it seems like he well he might have just his wife cheated him. I'm also
I'm
that little
fairly
reference
certain he cheated on his wife.
yeah, you're right, that reference you made earlier, he cheated on his wife, but he cheated on his wife also probably with a person who is also kind of like him in terms of like
Yeah,
temperament
yeah.
and
And maybe she's not an alcoholic, but maybe this news
set him off.
made it easier for her to keep up with him, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Um, just like you can have situational depression, maybe you can have situational alcoholism.
yeah. That's
Um,
true. That's true.
so
And I feel like that the teen they're dealing with this thing. I can see. I've seen this scenario play out with people where you have something going on in the house, and then you have the teen that's rebelling just outside of that,
yeah,
and you're like, how do you not getting mad at somebody because they're a rebellious teenager, but maybe that teenager doesn't really have anything to do with it. It's just they're just going through something, and
yeah,
they see that his behavior is somehow offending them because your mom is going through this thing and now you're being mouthy
yeah,
still. So I was like,
yeah.
whatever it was created a lot of tension, and a lot of tension within the relationship. But anyway, like so, I think
Well, and I misspoke. They didn't. It was still like a couple days after Christmas when he says to her that he thinks he needs to go back to Frank Martin's.
yeah, and almost the narrator seems like a person who has that self control where they say, you know what, almost like he was on the wagon for a long time, or it seemed like he was on the wagon and then he saw that there was an opportunity, some life event happened, he gets off the wagon, starts drinking, knows of himself, like knows that
It's like he knows better,
he
right?
knows better, and he's like,
But
listen, this is not like I can't do this by myself. I didn't expect like he just seems like that kind of person. Like if once he goes, he can't stop. And so like
yeah,
that was a bender that was gonna is either gonna end with him dead or he has to get himself in a rehab. So he
yeah.
knows that, and he goes to rehab, which is a good decision on his part.
But yeah, it is. But before we left town, I had her stop at the package store where I bought us the champagne.
Yeah.
We stopped someplace else for plastic glasses. Then we picked up a bucket of fried chicken. So he is going to rehab, but he's going to have a blowout before he gets there.
That's what I would do. I mean, yeah, no,
That tracks.
you're gonna be denied things, so might as well go in there full. Yeah, no, I don't blame. I don't blame.
Yeah, so they go, it's a rainstorm, she's driving, he's pouring and playing music on the radio,
Yeah,
and they're having a party, and by the time they get there, they're both drunk.
yeah, they arrived there drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
And he,
Um
and she, and maybe that's why the reason for Frank's response, like you're gonna if you want to get better, because he sees these two people come out of a car drunk with a bucket of chicken, and he goes, "Oh, you don't seem like you really want to. You want to seem like you want to keep the party going. Are you sure you want to be here?"
yeah.
Screw him with his head a little bit in a good way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so we go back to
We come back to the present,
yeah,
which is New Year's Eve morning, and he tries to call his wife. So the narrator, I don't know if he's calling her his wife because sometimes you just never get out of the habit
I know, yeah,
when you've been married to someone, or if he is technically still married to her
yeah. This
and
could
they're
be,
just separated.
Yeah.
But there's no answer.
Yeah.
So but he says the last time they talked was a couple of weeks ago and they screamed at each other. So I get the impression that even though he's living with his girlfriend, he's still very much in contact with his wife.
I think that maybe the wife doesn't know about his girlfriend.
Yeah, she just thinks that she kicked him out and he's
I know he has
on his own someplace.
Yeah, he's yeah, and I think this plays a lot like in the story when he's comparing his life to JP's, where the situation is much different for JP.
Yeah.
We'll find out soon.
But then we meet the guy who is in denial about being an alcoholic. Yeah. He says, anyone can have a blackout. That doesn't prove a thing. He's not a drunk. He tells anyone who will listen this. So, and he's like, he travels for business. He's in my head, I gave him the nickname of Mr. Big Britches.
Yeah, I'm too good
because they don't name him. So I was like, well,
I'm too good for this place. Who like he was almost like he's like who in here hasn't like I bet there's no world travelers in here. I don't even need to be here, and he
totally.
He needs to get knocked down a rung.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's I like that detail too because it shows we are in a rehab facility and you're getting different kinds of people. So it's like I think Raymond Carver is saying, listen, it's like rehab is not like the Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It's like these people sitting around talking and being reasonable. This is a place.
He's showing you these two guys who are maybe doing it right, but he doesn't want to give the impression that that's always how it is.
No. He doesn't want the reader to forget that this is rehab. So you're gonna have people who are having seizures and falling over. You're gonna have people. I mean, those, withdrawal can cause those things to happen. So it's not always pretty. And you have the ones who are in total denial and arrogance beyond belief.
Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad that's a good little. It's just a small detail, nothing too crazy. So like now
we find out Tiny's not eating as much now. And then meanwhile the narrator's appetite is coming back. So he's like, oh, you're not gonna eat that steak? I'll eat that steak.
Yeah.
Chicken. But he says I highlighted it. Tiny is not the same old Tiny. Like he definitely, and he wanted to be home by New Year's. That was one of the things that he had said. So, the fact that he's still there on New Year's, it's really tearing him up as well. And again, I think it's this thing of showing you the different types of people that are there.
Well, also showing that I looked at some of this, like sometimes I look at the themes of some of these stories or, something, I read something else that someone said. And it's this theme of loneliness, and maybe if someone has a seizure in a hospital, they go to the hospital, come back. Maybe he went to the hospital, no one visited him. Maybe he has no family left,
Yeah.
and he's like, man, I could
Well, no, he
die.
has a wife.
Oh,
He has a
okay,
wife because he planned to be home with his wife.
yeah,
But because he had that seizure, he's afraid to leave.
yeah.
So he's
That's true. That's true.
it's not that he's being kept there against his will. It's that he's now too scared to go home because he doesn't know what if that happened when he was at home.
That's I didn't think about that. That's true. So
So
so let's go. I want to keep with the story here. Like
yeah,
let's we now we talk about JP.
yeah,
And we find that JP's getting a visitor, right?
yeah. Roxy's coming to see him.
Yeah.
The next day,
Mm-hmm.
and JP wants to introduce his new friend to Roxy. Um, so they go home or go back to their rooms. They say goodnight, but the narrator tries again to call his wife. Nobody answers. He thinks about calling his girlfriend, but he doesn't really feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
So he hopes she's okay, and there's nothing wrong with her, but he doesn't want to know about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess a little bit this place that he finds himself at, this coming back to, sobriety. Maybe he's realizing that she's not for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But like, but when she comes, it's like it does have an effect on the narrator.
Yeah.
It's like he's heard about this almost like a mythical figure, this chimney sweep, and he like now he's like see like this whole story. Now he sees her in the flesh, and he was a little bit taken by her too.
Yeah. Yeah. He they meet, and I guess the thing that he notices is that they're still very much in love.
Yeah, yeah.
This may be a woman that had a boyfriend, but she didn't have that boyfriend because she didn't love her husband. She had that boyfriend because she wasn't getting what she needed from her husband.
Yeah.
And, she's come to visit him. That's something that neither his girlfriend or his wife has done since he's been there. And, she's still, taking his hand, she's still happy to see him.
That's not the same situation that's happening to the narrator at all.
No, not at all. And, he just mentions a few things like that JP had talked about her, told him how they met and stuff like that. And then it's really funny because he says, I know it's a dumb thing to do, but I do it anyway. Roxy, I say, and they stop because they're about to go inside. He goes, I need some luck. I could do with a kiss myself. So
oh, yeah, he almost plays that. He takes the role of JP in the beginning of the story. Like
yeah, which is odd to me because I feel like and JP he just looks down, but he doesn't really seem upset. He still says he's still like friendly. He still says "see you later, pal" to him. So I don't know that it upset JP.
No, I think he felt bad.
Yeah,
this narrator. I think JP understands this narrator is a little lonely. Like it's almost like saying like you see someone like maybe you go to a nursing home and see a parent or something and you're having you hug them goodbye and then there's a random person sitting next to your parent and they go, "Can I get a hug too?" Yeah, and it's not like it's not like they're being mean. It's just, you just see
they're not being inappropriate either.
They're not being inappropriate. They just want comfort and I think that JP has enough understanding and empathy not to take that as like he's hitting on his wife or anything. I think he just sees that. I think, well, it's two things. I think it might make Roxy feel good because how would he know that unless that he told that guy the story? So he's probably made her feel like, oh, you're talking about meeting me, and you've talked to a stranger about my effect on you, and what how we
Mm-hmm.
met. So it's like I think it was for Roxy. I think it was a positive thing. I think it almost probably
For sure.
made her like or fall in love with her husband again. Like, oh wow, you're telling complete strangers that how you met, so you must love me still. Um, and it gives her hope. And then he has enough. Like I said, the second part is he just knows that he was that person one time. Like his friend got the kiss first. JP's friend got kissed first, and he wanted the. So how can you get mad at somebody for wanting? Because we don't know about the situation JP when he was 18. Maybe he was lonely. So I'll like if
Yeah.
you don't cast a stone kind of deal. Like you can't don't get mad at him because he did the same thing you did when you were 18. Like we all feel lonely, and even a hug or a kiss it doesn't always mean like you're being I don't know, just you're being inappropriate. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's like so many things going on. I think such a cool line to put in there on Carver's
Yeah.
part. So we so she gives her
Then we go to a little vignette of the narrator and his wife.
yeah
Um, they're in bed together. It's really early. He hears
hmm
a noise, so he gets out of bed,
hmm
and it startles him and his wife. But his wife's like, "Oh no, it's the landlord. He's gonna do some painting before it gets hot."
yeah
But and she says, "Come back to bed. It's just him." And he's like,
hmm
"Yeah, yeah, I will." But he goes to the window to check, and he looks out. Sure enough, it's the landlord, and he kind of like he says. He says, "God damn it, I think if he isn't a weird old fellow," and a wave of happiness comes over him that I'm not him, that I'm
yeah
me, and
yeah
that I'm inside this bedroom with my wife. And then, like, the landlord, is like, "Oh, I better get to it. Daylight's burning." And it's then that he realizes he's standing there naked.
yeah
Like, he's
he's
on
thinking
full display for the landlord.
and that's where the landlord is looking, not because like he's thinking like, well, he must admire me because I like
Yeah.
because I'm in this apartment and I have like I'm inside in bed enjoying myself, relaxing in my house, and this poor bastard is out there painting at the side of someplace probably in heat,
Yeah.
in the humidity. So
Hmm.
he's it's funny, yeah. He's thinking like, oh, that person must be envious of me, possibly, or I like
Hmm.
he had a sense of appreciation, like God, I'm not him. But then he's
Yeah.
thinking that this guy's out there saying, yeah, I wish I was up there, but no, it's like he's looking at you because your stuff's out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's just a
But yeah,
cool.
so he,
Yeah.
he's really contemplative, the
But
narrator at that
yeah,
point. I
but
mean,
you see how it's funny how this little nested story comes right after the kiss, or right after him like
mhm.
seeing
Seeing
J
a couple
J.
that is in love.
Yeah, so it's like he's contemplative in the sense that he remembered this very random story about how he felt that he was on the other side of it. Like now
Mm,
he's the painter outside looking up at the person comfortable in their little condo and not having to work outside.
mm,
Now he's like it's almost a roles reverse. Like he's the painter looking up, one like maybe envious of like oh the maybe like I don't know transferring his feelings. But it's just it's very intentional how it's that comes right after he sees them together.
yeah,
Uh,
I think so as well.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
as the story wraps up, he's
Mhm.
sitting there and he's like, I'll maybe try calling my wife this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then after that, maybe I'll call my girlfriend. I'm like, dude.
Get it right. Get it right.
Um, but
He's-
and he's thinking about whether he's ever read any Jack London, and he thinks about To Build a Fire.
yeah, he goes back to
And
that
it's
story.
interesting because it's a story about a man like fighting to save himself, and I think that kind of connects to this narrator fighting to save himself by going into rehab. Um, And yeah, he says that, he'll try his wife first.
Give it a go.
If she answers, he'll wish her happy new year, but that's it. He's not gonna try to start something. He just wants to wish her
Put
happy new year.
put out good energy. He just wants that energy to be
Yeah.
better. He didn't want to be called wet
Um
brain.
he says she'll ask me where I'm calling from and I'll have to tell her.
Oh, that's such a
But
cool
he won't
line.
say
That's such a
I
beautiful
won't say
line.
anything about New Year's resolutions. There's no way to make a joke of this. Like he wants to be as honest as possible at this
Yeah,
moment.
and
But then
it
he
just
he
yeah.
says after he talks to her, he'll call his girlfriend, and it just
I don't think he.
yeah.
eh, you could always what would describe a missed epiphany. I think he's, to me, the narrator is someone who is probably easily influenced. I think it's on one of those grass is greener, always greener on the other side. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
he's the one who probably changes jobs a lot.
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
oh, this must be something better here. Oh, it has to be something better. I have to change. I have to do this, and
Well, do you think maybe there's a little bit of maybe between one of them I'll get somebody? Do you know, like
yeah, I
almost
think
like he's hedging his bets?
he's willing. Yeah, he's willing to change himself. He knows that he has to be honest. Maybe that was his problem in the first place, and he has to. I always go back to the line. I have to call. I have to tell her. I have to call. I have to tell her where I'm calling from. She asks where I'm calling from, and I have to tell her. Like, just to admit that because she. If some people say they associate rehab where you could have somebody. What happened? You're in a relationship and you leave that person, and then you don't see them for a while, and then you say, and you could be clean for a year and doing well, but you're calling from a rehab, and that has a stigma. So it's like I
Yeah.
think someone from the outside world is like, you're not getting better. You're in rehab. How are you getting better if you're there? You can't handle being outside, and I think that people
And that happens. That happens with
yeah
prisons as well.
yeah. It's like
People can't cope outside, so they're like, I'm gonna do something to get back in, because
yeah
at least back in I'm taken
yeah.
care of and I'm protected.
But I'm saying, like, also it's just how there is there is a sense of embarrassment that he has to call from rehab, and what that looks, how that looks on his end to his wife. And maybe it's just easier to talk. It's easier to call his girlfriend because she's already drinking and knows that, and she's the one that sent him there. So it's just maybe
Yeah,
it's
maybe that's it.
it's an easier conversation to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to right the ship as best as he can, and whatever happened with JP is like maybe like a beacon of hope for him. And I'm not saying that he's going to do a 180, but I just think that he may have gone into the conversation thinking that he was going to be the one that was going to teach him. That's what I get from the story. I think at first he feels, because he's older, that he has somehow like the maturity and experience, that he's the one teaching JP. But at the end of the story, JP's the one that actually is more together than he is.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was counting on that. I thought that he felt that, not the alpha in the group, but he had the impression that he was the one that was more together. And then seeing that last moment with his wife and the kid is seeing him in rehab, and he goes, oh no, I'm the one that has to, like, I'm like it's a little bit like that guy who doesn't feel like he should be there. Like, I think he has a
Yes.
false sense of accomplishment,
Yeah.
and it really sent him back. It was a humbling experience to know, oh, maybe I have to get it together. I'm not sure if that's repairable. I feel like at the end of the story, I feel like JP's relationship is repairable, as much as like you had the knockout, drag out knockdown, drag out fights with the spousal abuse and then there's problems with the family. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I feel like I got the impression that JP's life is a lot more repairable than the narrator's life. And I think that he has. I think
Yes.
JP has a lot is smarter and more reflective. Even though the narrative is reflective, I think JP this is I think he's able to handle it better. And maybe the
Yeah.
drinking, yeah. This, I think that the drinking this gets out of. It's a social lubricant, and like every time that he's just hanging out and just he starts, he's like, oh, things are good. I got married and I'm gonna have a few drinks, and then this gets ahead of it. Where the narrator, I feel, has a real not that he has a different kind of addiction. Uh, they're both unpredictable in their own way.
Yes, that's true. Um, I mean, they do have the commonality of both being alcoholics, you
Yeah,
know.
it's just there's different kinds of alcoholism. I feel
Well,
like there.
or they're at different stages. Like maybe
Yeah,
JP hit
yeah,
rock
yeah,
bottom before he ruined everything in his life, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
He hasn't he hasn't totally gone past the point of no return.
Uh huh. Uh
And
huh. Yeah.
I'm not sure that the narrator has either, but he's definitely gone a bit further, I think.
Yeah, he's gonna have to really mend those relationships. I,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think I
Well,
don't
and decide which one he wants to
I
maintain
don't yeah
long term.
I don't think his marriage is going to it's going to be fixed, unfortunately. But who
Yeah,
knows?
we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, so we
Sounds
got to keep
good.
moving.
Yeah, let's go keep moving. Yeah, it's good. We make a good time here. Let's go into our long, which is William Faulkner.
Do you want a very brief
Yeah,
William
yeah, yeah.
Faulkner
We've
update?
done
I
we've
didn't
had we didn't have we talked about Faulkner before. But yeah,
We
give us a
did.
little yeah. Um,
So the main thing that really stuck out to me is William Faulkner is the only Nobel laureate born in Mississippi. And that like he won the Nobel Prize for literature, obviously, but that means not any other type of Nobel laureate has come out of Mississippi either.
mhm.
Um,
Yep.
but he spent most of his life in Oxford, Mississippi. He set most of his stories in a fictional version of his home county.
I'm not
Um,
gonna try to pronounce that. I used to know how to pronounce that. Is his fiction?
the
Is his Middle Earth?
Oh, his Middle Earth.
That's what it is. Yeah, he has
Um,
fictional county in Mississippi.
yeah, his he
Yapahama, Yapahama. It's hard to say.
okay. Um, he had an upper middle class upbringing, but he heard a lot of stories of the Civil War, the KKK, and his family history. So I get the sense, and we talked about this a little bit. I was saying that Faulkner uses some language of the time, and it is not appropriate now. But when you think about where he came from, and it seems like his family was very much
Yeah,
um,
and he's a product of it
on
in
the
ways
wrong
too.
side of stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's a product of that.
yeah. I'm not saying he's squeaky
Um,
clean either, but yeah, but he has done. I think that he has a little bit, almost like the story, like this character in the story. He understands the limitations of his family.
yes,
You know.
yes. Yeah, his sense of humor was colored by these stories that he was told, and the people of Mississippi. He very much writes close to home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he became known for his characters that outwardly were good old boys. You know, the sort of people that you don't give a lot of credit to for being smart, but they were actually fiercely intelligent. Um,
In their
and
own
he's
way,
also
yeah,
known for using, yeah, in their own way. He's also known for using experimental writing styles, including stream of consciousness. So
yeah.
he, you know, he he is one of those people who might outwardly seem like a good old boy, but is fiercely intelligent. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
and I
it's like
think,
his name goes in terms of like the Western canon is modernism, stream
Hmm.
of consciousness, experimental fiction. You're getting. I always say that his stories are like the if you ever have the privilege of reading like As I Lay Dying and like Sound of the Fury. Um, it could be a challenge. I'm not gonna. It's tough, but that I always think like what helped me understand Faulkner was is I guess I could make an analogy. He is like the C-SPAN of literature, whereas like you know how you have the news. Doesn't matter what side of the news. You have there's a partisan bias in the media, but C-SPAN tends to put the camera on and let it rip, and
And
people are
just let
like,
it go.
let it
Yeah.
go. And he kind of does that in his stories where he just lets the camera on and you're getting maybe like 5 minutes into a story and you're getting like the same scenario from five different people, almost like
Mm.
someone's in the yard cutting wood and talking to themselves about something, and then a couple lines later you're getting this other character looking at that person cutting wood and then commenting on them cutting wood. So it's like it's just he does it a lot in his stories. He has this like he's a kind of like this, his characters just acting out or going through the motions, and he's just kind of almost like he puts the camera on and lets the characters do what they want. It seems like the way it's almost like he's not really controlling the characters. He's just being an eavesdropper, which I feel like he was that kind of it, that's something maybe he has done in his life as a child. Just been around looking at the world, looking at these people in his house doing these things, and it's kind of not judging, just recording. Like he's just kind of jotting down what these people are doing, and you're getting it from multiple perspectives. And that's like I think that story that I mentioned before, As Like Dying, that is like it's not really a long time. It's like a day, but it's a long story because it takes long because you are getting that day from different angles, different
Oh, I
characters at the
see.
same time. Like one will come into the room, another one will look at him. That person coming into the room, and he's not telling you that's when that occurs. That's what gets people mixed up. It just happens, and
Oh.
once you get used to it, it's easier to read. You're like, oh, who am I talking? Who am I looking out of now? Whose eyes am I looking out of at this point? But
Mm-hmm.
he'll switch it up in mid sentence sometimes, or in the next sentence. It would be someone's looking at a coffin, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the coffin from another character, and then all of a sudden it goes back to the main character, and then sometimes it's like you take experiments, and he'll be the person in the coffin, thinking
Uh,
dead or looking or like like what maybe like it's crazy. It's a lot of but when I got through it and I understood what he was doing, I appreciated it so much. I go, wow, this is a lot
mm,
for happening in the 60s or 50s or whatever 40s when he was doing
yeah.
this. He was doing all this stuff then.
I'm curious how I would be with it then, since, I really loved Margaret Atwood's Stream of Consciousness
Yeah,
uh, novel. So,
yeah. Well, anyway,
but let's talk about barn burning.
yeah.
This was actually the very first Faulkner story I read
Yeah,
because initially our first Itchy Quarter book club, we were gonna do this story. We actually picked four stories, our first Itchy Quarter book club, two from Shirley Jackson and two from William Faulkner, and we decided to do Shirley Jackson first and then do A Rose for Emily, the second Itchy Quarter book club, with
yep.
another story. So we never did barn burning in the end. So we're doing it now.
It's kind of a
Um,
anniversary a little bit.
except we've only been doing this for like 5 months.
But still so nice to go back to a story we were going to initially do in the really beginnings episode. So now we're doing it
Hmm.
now.
Um, so we find ourselves in a courtroom. Uh, but this courtroom is set up in a shop. It's a
Yeah,
store,
yeah.
and it smells of cheese and possibly some other less pleasant things.
Hmm.
And we find ourselves as uh in the shoes of the narrator, a young boy, um and he's there with his father.
Hmm.
um and he, right from the start, he said, he's describing that he could not see the table where the justice of the peace sat, and before which his father and his father's enemy, and he says our enemy, in he thought in that despair, ourn, mine, and his in both, he's my father. And I think that line right there is almost like the entire um like
Yeah, that could
that's the entire
if you
fight of
wanted
this
to if
story.
you want to melt the story into one sentence, it would be that. That's a good.
Yeah. He's
Also, like
this
and Faulkner,
little.
yeah, I want to also mention that Faulkner
Yeah, go for it.
is also using the environment like a lot of personification here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like the environment is almost I want like noxious smells in a way. Like even though
Mm.
I when I think of like yes I like deli food and stuff like that. And the stuff that they're describing in this, but it's like
Smelling it
when
out of
you
context can be unpleasant, though.
exactly smelling something you like in a different circumstance, especially if you're already maybe mentally taxed or there's a situation happening, you could it relabels that what you may have liked before. You may not like it now because of another situation happening. It's very conflicted. It's these people are not to go ahead of myself, but this is a poor family. So you would think that
Mm.
food smell good, but it's almost indicative of is like his going back to his view of his father, something nice, but then you're seeing your father in this situation that makes you view them differently. So it's like he's viewing the food differently in the story. It's not
Mm-hmm.
it's something that is supposed to make you to quell your hunger or something that smells good is not smelling so good. It smells different. That's like maybe his visually how he looks at his father right now. Like this is my father. I love
Mm-hmm.
him, but I'm also it's not feeling the same because of this
Yeah.
situation. So it's just cool. I just want
Yeah.
to not this. I just always try to. It's like that's Faulkner right there, 101. Like
Yeah.
his way
Yeah.
to blend the environment with the situation. But anyways, please go on.
Um. No. Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to add about this was I didn't understand the significance of that line the first time I read it because I didn't know where the story was going.
Hmm.
And now coming back to it, because obviously I did a refresh read. It it's so clear that that is the key. Um, oh, why can I not think of the word? Um, Not argument, but it's the key.
It
Like,
encapsulates the
yeah,
like
but I'm thinking like the antagonism of the story, but that's not the word I'm thinking. It's like
mm,
the conflict.
the
Thank you. God, that's such an easy word. It's the key conflict of this story right there in that sentence. We've got this little boy who seems to have a good a good morality to him,
yeah.
but part of that morality is being a good son. And so he's struggling with what his father is doing and being loyal to his father.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so like it's probably a good time to talk about what is his father being accused of. So that we have a situation where his father is a farmer. He's in the court talking to another farmer.
Yes,
This
he
farmer
had.
this other farmer is accusing him. It says like it's almost like he had a hog,
Mhm.
and the father had a hog, and it got into this guy's pasture or his
Corn.
corn,
Was
and
it corn or was it?
it was corn. It's corn.
It's eating his corn
Eating
essentially.
eating the produce. Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah,
not a good look. And
that's his income. So
he had his father didn't have a fence. This is the guy complaining about his father. Like he didn't have a fence. He didn't, it wasn't. It's not
he
properly.
tried to help him out
Yeah,
by giving him wire to fix the fence.
he never did. The hog kept getting out. And he's saying that even like offered money for the hog.
No, he said you can have the hog when you pay me $1.
Oh, okay.
And the father's like, okay, fine. So he pays the $1. He gets the hog back, but he sent a messenger, a servant, to go get the hog. So it's a little black boy goes with $1 to see that farmer, gives him the $1, gets the hog, but he has a message for him. He say to tell you wood and hay can burn.
Yeah. That's a key point.
That's the key point, because this other farmer is accusing the boy's father, not the boy who was the messenger, but the narrator. He's accusing the boy's father of burning down his barn.
Yeah,
because after encounter,
that's the last exchange they have, burns. And then when all of a sudden his barn burns. He gets this message, this very cryptic message about wood and hay, and he probably received it and was like, "What the hell is this about?" Yeah, and then
his barn burns.
Then his barn burns. So he's saying this guy did it. Your father is a arsonist. Like he lit my barn on fire because he got sour about something about the whole hog
But the
thing.
justice says that's not proof.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Law and Order. This would be called circumstantial evidence.
Yeah.
But then the accuser is like, get that boy up here, because they can't find the boy who brought the message.
The boy is the son. The son. And this guy, this boy, he's always sitting. He's in the courtroom watching his father being accused of something. He's like he's team dad, obviously. Yeah. Looks up to his father.
Well, he feels like he should be team dad.
Yeah. Well, after this point, and he's in this, and they're telling him, get up here, and we're gonna ask you some questions on the stand. And his father is, how does his father respond to that? Like his father
doesn't say anything, but
you have this young little friend.
He doesn't
scared
even
boy.
Look at him.
Doesn't even look at him, but
the boy knows. He says he thinks in his head he aims for me to lie, and I will have to do it.
Yeah, the boy's pretty bright for his age, and he understands the situation that he's gonna go. Like he's like inching his way up to the court, to the seat.
Yeah.
And like imagine all these people looking at you, and your father's not even looking at you, but he is the center of attention, and he understood that, okay, I know what happened, I'm gonna have to lie. And this conflict doesn't sit like it. I feel like this is the seed of the conflict in the story. It starts to grow, but he's not comfortable with this.
No,
but we don't. It doesn't. It's just from the reaction of the other lawyer. He kind of says he asks him some questions, and all of a sudden he goes, "Send him out of here." It really like boy gets questioned.
It's like the accuser just understands that they're not going to get what they need out of this kid.
Yeah, it doesn't really say that they're not like, it's not like one of those movies where it shows the person on the stand and they're asking questions. You just get the reaction. You realize from the reaction of the justice that this boy did not say what he wasn't needing help.
He didn't even ask him anything apart from what his name was.
Yeah.
But the justice plays his bias. He's giving the boy's father, whose name is Abner, by the way, he's giving Abner some grace in this situation, because he said to the boy, I reckon anybody named for Colonel Sartorius in this county can't help but tell the truth, can they?
Mm.
So he's letting pretty much everyone in that um, impromptu courtroom know that if this boy says something, he's believing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when he says to Harris, who happens to be the accuser, he says, "Do you want me to question the boy?" And they just decide, Harris just decides no, because clearly this justice has set him up to know that
He's not
he's
gonna
going to
believe.
believe what this boy says.
Yeah, and does like get him out of here. So anyway, we find out that the father doesn't have
No,
to
the justice doesn't have evidence to
accuse the father
convict him of
of the
anything.
barn burning, and that's how it is. And then we start to
But he tells him to go.
yeah
He says, "I strongly suggest you leave this county."
yeah you even though you won the case, we want you out of here. It
Yeah.
doesn't sit well with us. So then you go
But
out.
they're already packed up to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they go outside and the wagon's ready to go. The mom, the sister, the brother, they're all in,
Yep.
ready to go. They were just waiting for this court case to be settled, and then they're ready to go. And the boy talks about how much they move. And we realize that he's, what, like 10 years old, and they've moved more times than years that he is. So,
Yeah, yep.
I completely
Yeah.
feel for this kid.
Yeah.
I know what this is like. Not my father's not an arsonist, but we moved around a lot. So, I connected with that he just wishes for stability, but they keep moving.
Yeah.
And they keep moving because his dad has a temper.
Yeah.
And he keeps doing things that make it so they can't stay.
It's understood. Even the whole family.
Yeah.
But so you would think that coming out of a case, winning a case like that the father would maybe to take this moment, they just take this moment to say, "Hey, thank you for that." But he's just still he's very cold. And something happens to the son, right? When he's leaving.
Yeah. So as they're leaving the court, somebody hisses "barn burner," and the kid gets hit.
Bleeds.
He's bleeding. And the mother, we see kind of the soft heart of the mother. And I said to Itchy before we started, I was like, I definitely feel like the little boy takes after the mother. He has the empathy that the mother has. And we see it here that she's like, I just want to get him cleaned up. And the father's like, no, he can do that later. We're just going.
Yeah.
And she tries to worry the kid, not worry, like fuss with him and, make sure that he's okay. And she just wants him to clean off his face. And
he didn't want the blood to dry.
Yeah, I didn't want the blood to dry. And the kid's like, just get off me. I'm fine. I think, again, we're seeing that thing where he wants to be strong. He wants to be the boy his father wants him to be. So he's trying to prove that he's some big shot.
But also a little conflicted about what he had to do in that courtroom.
Yeah, he's still concerned about that. And he says something about how, that they're on the road to their next house, and he says forever. Maybe he's satisfied now that he has, and he stops. So clearly the little boy knows what his dad's done. And he can't even admit it to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be disloyal.
Yeah. That's a lot for
but they talk about
for an 11-year-old kid.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But they're at one time they're traveling, and then the father brings it up at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they have to stop for the night. Yeah. They have a fire. I thought it was interesting that the fire that they start to keep themselves warm through the night, they took somebody's wooden fence, and chopped it up to make their fire. And it also mentions that it's a small fire. It's a very shrewd fire. Like, his father is an arsonist, but when he makes a fire for the family to keep warm, he does it very small. And the kid maybe thinks that there's some element of fire that spoke to something deep in his father. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, his father has a conversation with him, and he's like, "You were fixing to tell them. You would have told."
Mm. Instead of saying, "Oh, thank you for,"
Um,
it's like this would be that's a perfect opportunity as a father myself.
yeah,
This is a good father moment in this, and he didn't take it at all. He
no,
pretty much said, "You were
no,
gonna you were
he
gonna tell
hits
them."
the kid.
Yeah, he hits him in the face. It says like, you were almost a warning, like you were gonna tell. Don't ever get that in your
Yeah,
don't ever get
but he
that taste in
does
your mouth.
it. The thing that really strikes me is he does it without heat or anger, so it's cold. There's no feeling in it. He
Yeah.
just hits him because that's what he deserves in his mind.
Mm.
And that's how you train someone.
To be in
It's
fear,
just
to live.
yeah.
It's very bullish
Um
behavior.
yeah. Well, and he
Yeah.
says that his father had struck him before, but never had he stopped to explain why afterwards. That's something very different. Um
Yeah, Stress Presser said there's a good.
so
I was gonna say that about. I didn't mention it before about the horse thief. Yeah. He they were also on stolen horses. So this
yes.
yeah, he was trying to evade possible capture or the attention of
Hmm.
the public. So that might, but but you could also see that as, I think in Chinese perspective, that you could see that as, why would he goes through all this stuff to have a fire, but he, like, when it comes to his family, doesn't really care if they. It seems like it's like, or I could also say that he's very cheap. It's like maybe he's
Yeah.
just he doesn't, at the expense of his family, he's willing to just do all these things and put them in harm's way. He doesn't really. I think he just thinks about himself, and he's cheap. A lot
Yeah.
amongst other.
I'd like to make one comment about the horse thief thing. He's a horse thief during the Civil War when he's hiding from the other side. Now, I would say that that's a little bit different than just being a horse thief for his own like benefit. He's doing it because they're, in the middle of a war. And horses are very valuable in the middle of a war.
So
Um,
he was like, he was that guy, the character in Gone with the Wind.
Rhett Butler.
Yeah, he's a Rhett Butler. He's playing for both sides, and he says that.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
he,
yeah.
he says
Yeah,
that. He goes,
he
yeah,
probably did it for however best to come out of this, What's the most likely path that's going to get me out of this alive and well?
well, it's also because, but he's also a bit of a capitalist. Like, he's making money off of both sides. He doesn't care. And I think it's also, this is the detail that the son knows too. Like, is my dad a war hero, or is my dad like
Yeah.
in the service, or he's just, I don't think he cares if anybody wins. He just wants to make money, which is, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's a hard pill to swallow for some people to look at their parents like that as this
Yeah.
opportunist. But anyway, that's good. No, so yeah, he's doing this.
They
Yeah,
the next day they get to their end destination, which is another home,
yeah,
another farm where his dad's gonna so the way his dad is a farmer is he's like a sharecropper. He
yep,
goes
yep,
to a big farm, farms a section of it, pays yeah, he has a limp because yeah, exactly. He has a stress buster said he has a limp because he was shot in the foot taking horses. So that's
he has a quite a
correct. He
quite a reputation, right? Already,
yeah, he
we
really
find
does.
out he
He's
steals
quite a
horses.
character.
He's like lighting. He has a temper. He's lighting things on fire. He's
Um
so yeah,
yeah,
super person.
so he when he gets a bit of land to farm, he has to give some to the person who owns it and then he sells the rest and that's how they make their livelihood. So when they get to this new place, they go up to the big house of the
Yeah,
person who owns the land. That person isn't there, but he forces his way into the house past the servant,
yeah,
and he's got dirt on his shoes, and because he doesn't pick up his one foot because he limps, he smears that dirt all over the white rug in the tree.
yeah.
Um,
Then we meet like
And the
the
wife
wife of the owner of the house notices
loses
this.
it.
Yeah, she's like, "What are you doing in here? I don't even know you. We told you to leave. You come here when my husband's home. Yet you come in here, drag your foot, and now my
Hmm.
precious rug is soiled, and you're gonna have to pay for this or somehow."
Yeah. So they leave. They go back to their house. He's done what he's done.
But where do they? Where do they leave the big house and go to the barn? What is it?
No, they go back to their house, their part of the farm. And while they're, doing the rest of their day, I think it's almost dinner time. Uh, the rug gets delivered to the house, to the boys' house, and they're expected to clean this rug. You
Yeah,
dirtied the rug, you're gonna clean the
clean
rug.
it up.
Um, but the father has to be, he has to have the last word in everything.
Mm.
And the mom can see what's happening. She's like, just leave it. I'll do it. I'll clean it. He's like, no, you make dinner. I'm dealing with this. And when the mother sees what he's up to, she's like, Abner, please don't. Please, Abner. And he's ruining the rug. He's
Mm.
using really abrasive um things to clean
Yep,
it. I think it's lye.
on purpose.
And he's purposely ruining this rug. And then late at night when the rug's done, they've had their dinner, everything like that. The boy is almost asleep, and the next thing he knows, his father's standing over him. He's like, "Go get the mule. We're going." Um, and they deliver the rug in the middle of the night back to the big house. They just leave it there, and that ends them back up in court
Yeah, yeah,
because now the master of the house rides over to yell at him and say, "You owe me 20 bushels of corn on top of what you owe me
mm-hmm.
for the use of the land to pay for the rug." And now the father is taking this man to court because he says that's unreasonable.
Excessive.
That's excessive.
Yeah.
And this time the justice doesn't let him off. The justice says, "No, you absolutely did this on purpose. You absolutely owe this man repayment. But 20's too much. You
Yeah.
just do 10 over your normal."
You're not going to get there's a judge just from the look of this family. He goes, "You're not going to get that kind of bushels. This doesn't. They don't have the economic strength to pay for this or to do this. I think
Yeah.
it's we should just be more reasonable for this."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, they leave. And the thing is, the dad, he's not. Well, one thing I should mention before we say that they leave. The boy comes in and he's like, he ain't done it. He ain't burnt. And then like the father stops him, cuts him off. And he's like, "Go back to the wagon." And the justice is like, "Burnt? Do I understand the rug was burnt too?" And the father's like, "No, nobody claims it was." He tells the son to go back. So like the boy has another like attack of conscience. And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
"I gotta tell." He's like, "I gotta tell, but also I can't tell. It's my dad, so I'm gotta protect him." And it just comes out of him in a way that's not helpful to the father. In fact,
No. The father takes a threat in ways.
yeah.
Sees
So
his
then,
son for what he is.
well, exactly. It's a glimpse into what the son really wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the court case is over now. They go home, and now the plotting begins. And everybody knows what's happening in
You're getting the
Abner's
reaction.
house.
You're getting the reactions from people. I think the first reaction you get is from the wife.
Yeah.
No,
She's like, no, don't do it, Abner. God, no, please don't. She's probably tired of moving too. She just wants to get through a season on the farm and make some money and
there's like
survive.
it always seems like there's Abner is his default is this burning. Like that's how he handles things. Like that. Once he feels wronged, he goes to the burning, or he wants to use fire somehow, and
And
dangerous.
revenge.
Revenge, very
He
spiteful.
wants
Oh my
revenge.
god, vindictive son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So they you get the so now this thing is brewing literally.
Mm.
Uh,
And he's making the younger son be involved. You know, he wants him to go get the oil from the barn to help him fill up the can so that he can take it to
yeah,
do what he has to do.
and his wife says like, wife almost sees like the this be his response is actually more he sees this as worse because maybe in the past he's done this stuff on the hiding it from his son, but he really now he's asking his son to go get gas and things like that, and his wife is like, last time you had the servant send a note or you were having somebody else do this, now you're involving your son in this, like he has nothing to do with so you see the contrast of empathy, like he's not he's not even hiding it anymore, he's just he's implicating his son in this whole thing.
We also see that the older son is more on board with the father. Clearly, like if the younger son is more like the mother in nature, then maybe the older son is more like the father in nature, and he's on board, and he's like, you know what, you better tie that boy up because
he's gonna holler.
He's gonna try and ruin this.
Yeah, he's gonna
try and
he's gonna go to the big house and say something to the owner. So we better tie him up. So they
don't tie him up, but the aunt and the mother try to hold him.
Yeah.
But the aunt actually says to let him go. The aunt also isn't happy with the situation.
No.
She also thinks that maybe Abner needs to get caught, or maybe they need to stop him before he does it so that he doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
But
like they've seen this happen before many times. The writing's on the wall. He is going to do something bad. But now he's not only doing something bad on his part, he's putting his family in harm's way. Well, I mean, he was doing it anyway, but like now he wasn't using he wasn't having them fetch things. Now, so I think there's a good moment in the story where he's running to go get something, but he's also having second thoughts. He's like, I could run here and get this thing. Do I have to come back or do?
No, yeah, he's like, I could just, I could just not warn the guy. I could just run. I could just run and never go home.
Go home. But then he's like, it's like that. He's at the seam of like moral seam of things. He's like, I could run and go, or should I warn these people? Because at this point, like, I think that it's hard to admit it as a son, but he's starting to judge his father. I think it's happened. He has judgment. He judges his father. Maybe there was maybe a tiny bit of respect for his dad, but that's kind of gone out the window at this point. So I think at that moment, he may have not understood. He's 11 years old. I don't think he's understood that he's reached that point. But it does. It shows that he reached that point when he chooses to go to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happens there, Shiny?
Well, he warns them, but they keep calling him the white man. The guy is trying to catch him. He doesn't. It's not just a case of, oh, this guy's warning me. That's great. He's still mad at this kid.
Yeah, I mean, they at that point is they see evidence. Is it they could see the barn going up?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
sure.
not clear on that. Hold on.
Yeah, well, if the people who stopped him, like even if you're running, if you did something, even if you're not involved, if you're running away from something, you're implicated, right? Like how would they know that this kid didn't light anything up.
Yeah, that he didn't have something to
There's
do
something to
with
do with it.
it.
So they stopped him, even though he was
Um,
warning them.
yeah, no,
Uh,
I think it said, I'm trying to look where it was. I don't think it was clear. He got to the house and he warns
I don't
them.
think they saw. I don't think they saw anything yet.
No. But the man says, to get his horse, um
Yeah, I think at this point they start noticing things.
yeah. But he runs. Oh no, okay, that's what it was. Um the man there's shots.
Yeah, because they hear noises,
Yeah.
and the people in the big house are responding. Correct?
Yeah, so the guy gets his horse and I think he rides towards the barn.
Because I was thinking that he hears something, he sees something.
Yeah, and he has his gun and I think he shoots the father.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, but that's what
but
the boy also thinks because he's
yeah,
crying.
the boy is crying. He tries to warn it. I think that at one point the person in the big house had the boy cornered, but then something in the barn, probably the flames, made him shift his focus to go back over there. The boy runs. He hears shots and doesn't know what it is, but at this point he has to. He's on the precipice of a lot of things mentally. Should I go back for my family, or should I just go? Should I just get out of here and maybe reevaluate my my life up to this point? Like I think at that point, like we may be getting ahead of ourselves here, but I think at that point he just at 11 years old he goes this framework is bad. This is this is rotted framework for adolescence. Like he knows this, and he goes, if it what will happen if I go back? Then I have to do this whole thing over again. I may have to go on. I may have to go on a stand and defend someone that I don't think I defend the defenseless. I don't like this person who is my father. I don't like what he does to his family. I don't like his outlook on life. Maybe everything I've known of him, every redeeming quality I've known of him, I have to question now. Or maybe I've always known it and I was in denial. But at that part of the story, Faulkner puts this at this heavy realization. He puts this on this child, and we assume that he just goes on his way, and that's a hard thing to do. I always go back to that the author, not James Michener, who's Beale from Beale Street. No,
Starts with a G.
Yeah, it's oh my god.
Or no, it doesn't start with Giovanni's Room was the book.
Yeah,
James Baldwin.
James Baldwin. Okay, James Baldwin had a quote. I think it was in Giovanni's Room, and he says that the hardest, and it always sits with me, and he goes, the most difficult part of your time in your life is when the day you have to judge your parents. And that always it gives me the chills thinking about that, because I think that everybody at one point has to do that. I think when you're younger, at least for most of us, you have this understanding of why we have to understand. You have this understanding that your parents could do no wrong. At least I'm not. Maybe I'm being privileged saying that. I mean, I'm not. I'm discounting that every people, sometimes kids find out really early that their parents are not the most don't have the best character. But I think at the moment, like you only see your parents as like they have you have even they could do no wrong in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're your under like they're your binoculars for like authority. Like they're like they're the beacon of authority, a beacon of respectability in
Mm-hmm.
ways. Like you
Mm-hmm.
judge everything. Like you see how they act. You want to act like that. You mimic their actions. But then it's like you reach a point where there is a you may not agree with them anymore, and that point
Mm-hmm.
may come at a later in age. For me, it was later in age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just we got to think this child here is 11 years old, and has to make a probably the hardest decision of his life. Like,
Yeah.
do I incriminate myself, or do I be enabler to this behavior, or do I just start over? And I don't know what that
Mm.
means. Like, during this time, being a young kid, you can go out by yourself. And
Yeah.
if I do that, I can't come
Yeah,
back.
he's too young for that to be his choice, but he might feel that's the choice he has to make. And he sits up on that hill for a while thinking about that, trying to decide what to do.
Yeah, yeah,
And and trying to come to terms. This is when he's sitting there going, but my dad was a war hero. He was brave. He was good. But, knowing that that's also not true.
it's not. Yeah, I
Um,
think. Yeah, he had this. He put his father on the pedestal. And then at that moment he goes, I have to question everything. And it was like when you have to question everything, like, and we talked about me and Shiny talked about this a lot. Like, your worldview. Like, I don't get joy from crushing someone's worldview.
no.
Because that worldview could just dictate everything they do, and without that, some people just go into a tailspin, possibly don't even get out of
Mm,
it. So, like, I I could see him vouching for his father this whole time. He did it until he couldn't do it
mm,
anymore. He did it until he couldn't do it anymore.
yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I mean, he's leaving his mother too.
Yeah.
Like, there's guilt there. Like,
Hmm.
I'm leaving. Like, I left my mom. I'm leaving my mom to this all. But his mom was an adult. She has made her own decision to be with this man. Maybe she'll have to do the some. Maybe she'll have to do the same thing at some point. But
Hmm.
as of now, I don't think. I think he had to do what he had to do. I think he made the right decision. I think that he had this, like I said, it was like the seed. Like, in the beginning of the story, you had him in the courtroom. He's this little boy in a courtroom. He has to go up there on the stand and lie for his father, and that doesn't sit well. He does not like that. He
Mm.
sees that he knows he can't, with all even admiration he has for his father. He knows this thing is wrong, and I think it eats at him throughout the story. And whether even if he try to be like his brother and be more of a less empathetic person and be tough, like you said, Shiny, that part when he just said he didn't burn it. He didn't burn it. Like, he responded. Like, his subconscious was
Yeah.
coming out,
he
and
he really struggles, I
he
think.
struggles.
He
And it's
he
yeah, and I mean, I just it's hard to even judge your family in your 40s. Imagine having to do it at
yeah.
11. Or you have,
I
older later in life, you have to deal with things like you don't always see eye to eye with your parents. But then, like,
I
he's
ha
doing this.
I had to do this. I had to do this because my father was not good. He didn't burn anything, I don't think. But he wasn't a good person. And I I had to little girls especially, they love their dads. In psychology books, it says the worst time for a little girl to lose her father through divorce or whatever is when she's 3 years old, between 3 and 4.
Hmm.
And my parents split when I was between 3 and 4. I loved my dad. I thought he was the greatest thing ever. I often say the reason why I'm such a night owl is because my dad was a long haul truck driver, and he'd come home on the weekends, and I would just stay up as late as possible
Yep.
as a little kid, as a 3 year old, to spend as much time with him as possible when he was home. And slowly, I think it started around the time I was 8, and it like finally came to a head by the time I was 16. But like for those 8 years, I was just seeing how he was letting me down, let me down, let me down, let me down. And, it is one thing to come to terms with that when you're 40 and,
Yeah.
you've had a whole life of experience and understanding and all of that. But when you're a little kid going through that,
It's a lot. Yeah.
that it's a lot because your parents are supposed to be the good guys for you.
Yeah.
They're
And
supposed to be what you look up to.
yeah, and I feel like every moment through the story, where if we could like go back to the father's actions, you're seeing little things that don't sit well with the son. Like he uses he uses the wood from a broken fence that he took from somebody else. Now he has to sit there and go, my dad takes stuff and uses it. He steals. My dad steals. My dad is an arsonist. My dad lies.
Yeah, he has a very loose relationship with the truth.
Yeah, yeah. I think like for somebody, it's just on a crossroads of lots of things. You want to impress this person. This is your father. You want him to, and then also there's like this. You're also seeing the relationship between your brothers and sisters. Like I wish my dad treated me like my brother. I wish he treated me like my sister. He's looking at there. He's like, do I have to be more like what I don't want to be so my dad will like me? Do I have to do bad things? And it's like it's so psychologically scarring that he expecting his son to carry out these things, and when he doesn't, he looks down on him. So you're saying like, if I don't help you with this art, if I don't help you start this fire, then you're gonna think I'm weak. But like the whole notion of doing this is wrong. It's ethically wrong, morally wrong to do this to other people. So, it's to have a grown person, a parent, put their kid through that. It just shows how ruthless he is. Like you're making your kid choose between good and bad. You're making your kid choose bad because, and you're reframing bad because you want to get away with what you do. But that kid, even at 11, knows that that's bad. Yeah, you're gonna judge him for thinking other like oh he's gonna run. Look, he's weak. He's gonna run. And for me, it's hard for me to fathom that that there's people like that in the world.
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, that happens. And it was like it's such a. I just liked how the way Faulkner it's like it's not that he. It's not like he judged his. He didn't have this. He didn't in the beginning of the story. He did not have this opinion of his father. In the beginning of the story, he goes, "This is my dad. This is my dad's the war hero. My dad's this. My dad's that." He was like bragging about his father, but it was still.
I slightly disagree with that. I feel like the first mention, that line that I said kind of encapsulates the whole story.
Oh, but
I feel like that was already a conflict for him.
It was a conflict.
That was already him thinking, I don't think this guy's an enemy, but he's my enemy because my dad says he's my enemy.
Yeah, but I'm saying
like he's more enemy, he's my enemy.
He was more inclined to think that way in the beginning of the story than the end of the story. Like I feel like that, like whatever rope he gave his father, and the benefit of the doubt he gave his father, and his respect thing. It's like it's at towards the end of the story. I don't think there's any left.
No, I think he's
that's what I was trying to get at.
He's used up all of his grace. He's used up all of his grace at that point.
I mean, I'm sure that the hit in the face didn't help either. Coming
no,
that wasn't good.
No, because I think as much as this is not okay, if somebody hits you out of anger, there's emotion there. But if somebody hits you with no emotion, that's more terrifying.
Yeah, it's like maybe like there's almost like the reins in the horse. Like this, you're just doing something. Where you like it's very like an animal. Like if I'm gonna strike this, I'm gonna strike this animal so this dog doesn't go escape my yard again. Like I'm gonna hit him once.
Well, they always, what's the saying? Like the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference.
Mm.
So at least if there was hate, if there was anger there, there's still feeling, but
Yeah.
to just hit him with coldness just because it's a correction that you would give, like you said, to an animal,
Yeah.
that that is
I
probably a lot harder for a little boy to take.
yeah. That pushed him a little over the edge.
Mm,
But I don't like you said before, that reaction when he was like, "Oh, he didn't burn the rug." Like, I don't think he meant to do
mm.
that. I think that this
No.
whatever whatever was happening, his feelings was brimming to the top,
Mm,
and it was. I think that maybe the father was starting to know that too. I think the
mm,
father could see that. Okay, my son's going to turn on me at some point. He's going to be he's the weakest one here. I better pay attention to him, or I better make
mm-hmm,
sure. Like, if for a manipulator like that, if I was in a group, if I was okay from a manipulative perspective, if I was in a group and I saw someone who was gonna break ranks,
mm-hmm,
I would make them do the things to remind them who's boss.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
he made his son. Oh, you need to go to the wagon, get the gas, get the tin can. He
Yes.
made him
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
He because he knew. I think that he knew that his son. It was almost a reminder that, listen, I'm the boss. And
Yeah.
if you even think about turning me in, or if you have um issues with what I'm doing here, you better get them out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that
Yeah.
he didn't make the other brother or the sister do this. He made him do it. Why would he make the youngest son do
Yeah.
this?
Well, because the other brother's already on board. The other brother's already on board. And I
So
don't think
there's no
that,
convincing him. Yeah, there's no convincing him.
no, there's no convincing him. And I think he leaves the women out of it.
Yeah.
The women are soft.
Well, they fear him.
They're for, well, they fear him already. They also are for making dinner, washing clothes, looking after the house, which is not an unheard of view at that time. So it's not like he's particularly worse than anybody else with having that view.
Yeah.
So, but his son, he needs to make a man out of.
Yeah, but it's just like he's also. I know that you would be the one who would turn on me, so I'm gonna lay it into you with my demands. I'm gonna you want to
Mm,
do this? We read a story recently about that. Jamaica Inn,
yes.
that they the antagonist was making his niece do all these things because I got to keep you close by because I don't trust you. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, he's just a horrible person. And
Yeah.
if he got if I didn't get any satisfaction knowing it was weird because of all
Yeah.
this trauma. I didn't read that part about the shots ringing out and go, oh, I hope they shot him. It was more like, what's happening to this guy, this son?
Yeah.
This son has to now make a decision.
Yeah. Uh, Stress Peso pointed out a quote that I also had wanted to bring up and I forgot. It says, "You got to learn to stick to your own blood, or you ain't gonna have any blood stick to you." And I think it's interesting because in this case, sticking to his blood was maybe the wrong choice.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this theme before, like with the death of Ivan Illich, that, if you don't connect with people, they're not going to be there for you in the bad times when you need them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this statement, is
It's like
kind of along those same lines, even
is
if maybe the outcome isn't a good one.
this is how the mob
You know,
operates. This is a gang
yeah,
operates.
yeah, totally. But I think the reason it gets people is because there is some truth in it, you know?
Loyalty over morals or over everything. As
Well,
Espresso
yeah,
said,
no, not loyalty over morals, but if you don't connect with people, they won't connect with you.
oh, you're saying
And
that
so
like he
it's
shot
like
himself
it's
in the
feeding
foot
on, yeah,
with that.
yeah, it's feeding on a truth.
Yeah, yeah.
This, it's like when somebody has a voice in their head that's telling them bad things about themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little kernel of truth in that bad voice, and that's why it works.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing with this. There's a kernel of truth in that you must be there for people in order for them to be there for you.
So
but they push it to the point of you have to do the wrong thing because we're blood, and that's what's important above all else.
But so you feel that by telling his son, the father telling his son this, that he kind of shot himself in the foot a little bit, because he's also saying that, like, okay, you're sticking to me, but I'm not really sticking to you because I'm doing horrible things to you. Like
maybe it did highlight that for him. Do you know, like, you told me that you have to stick to your blood or you ain't gonna have any blood stick to you, and you didn't stick with me.
Yeah.
So
you like, it's almost like the father could have had that version or the interpretation in a different way, but I guess having something like that open to interpretation is probably was the wrong thing to do, because it made his son think, it's like, yeah, Dad, you're right. You didn't stick up for me. You made me do bad things, and now I don't want to stick to you.
Yeah.
So yeah. You made my decision
because
for me.
You could absolutely say that the father betrayed the son by asking him to do something illegal. You could absolutely take that view.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's, like I said, I was very, very surprised. I didn't get, like, there wasn't a feeling that of completion or a happy feeling that the father got shot. I felt like the boy was more alone than he was before.
Yeah.
Like this is a bad model.
The only upside of his father getting shot is he doesn't have to defy him. The boy doesn't have to defy his father.
Yeah.
That's the only upside, really. Yeah. Because it doesn't matter how bad your parent is, to lose them at that age is still rough. And then there might be extra trauma with that of, maybe if I didn't tell on him, he wouldn't have got shot.
Yeah. I'm sure
you never let things go.
As mad as the parents are, as mean as they are, you still have that connection. So there's guilt associated with. I also think that he ran away. I think that it's best for him through the system, and from a criminal criminal standpoint, that he disassociates with that family, because we don't that they could have shot the father and said, the whole family needs to be rounded up, we're putting you in jail. Now he has the stigma of being part, like, even though it doesn't matter how much he went, he thought he was on the moral high ground, he's still gonna have association with his father.
That often doesn't matter.
It may haunt
the fact that he warned them may not matter at all.
No, if
that landowner decides to be vindictive,
you could say, like, you didn't warn me. You started, and the brother didn't help either, because the brother was on board with the father. You don't know how the brother's going to be. Like, oh yeah, he was part of it too. I don't trust him. So I think he had to leave for that reason too. Like, I can't go back. I can't fix all this. It could be pinned on me. So, like, I have to. Yeah. I don't like what's going on here. My father was not the person. I have to come to terms that he was a horrible person, that he put us in a situation. Now we need to escape. I have to escape. Like, I can't even start this family again. It's just too much. Like, right now I have to make that decision. I was just like, I don't know. I don't think I'm brave enough to do that. Maybe that's why it sits different with me in the story. Like, even like I graduated high school, and I had a choice to stay up north if I wanted to, but I was scared to be on my own. It was I didn't think I could do it. I had a lot of stuff with going to school and a lot of hurdles, and wasn't sure if I could do this by myself, and I was very dependent on my parents, not only money wise, but just in general, just for motivation,
like emotional support.
Emotionally,
as well.
I wasn't emotionally that in a place where I could just be on my own, and but I was like 19 years old. Imagine being 11, having to make that decision, and be 11 in this time, being in this environment. It's not like you. It's a different place. You're in the Wild West.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything, you get someone's gonna throw you in an orphanage. I mean, he didn't know what to do. Like, how do you survive? You're too young to work. Well, you can work, but I don't know what can you do? But yeah, great story. I'm just happy we got to do that and got a lot out of that. It's like
me too.
Moral conundrums Faulkner has put us through. Even like that, even Rose Tremblay was like that too in ways. People faced with situations, not knowing, like maybe that's all they knew. Just being stuck. But at least with this one, he didn't feel stuck. He got out. I'm assuming he got out. He jetted.
Yeah, I mean, it is obviously open to interpretation there.
I felt like he left.
I felt like he left as well.
Because he said, I didn't know if my father was shot. I think he said that in the story. I'm not sure what the shots meant. But I hope he's doing okay. Who knows? He could have.
Yeah.
He could have opened up a video store in a different county and.
A video store.
I don't know why I thought that. Like,
the last Blockbuster.
He could have owned the last Blockbuster. He could have started Blockbuster. You never know. Have this. I could always go on and on. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate sometimes with our staggered times, and everything. But I guess I usually don't share so much about my stuff. I'm very happy today. I applied for grad school for English literature, and I got my acceptance letter today, and
yay!
Yeah. So that's why we started a little late, because I was sending out some emails. So I'll be going to grad school. Not this year. I thought I would defer that. Hopefully for next year. And I'll get my when I graduate, I'll get my
then I'll really have to listen to him, because he'll have even more schooling than me.
I'll have my tweed jacket.
His tweed jacket. I'll have to call him Master Itchy.
No, Master Itchy. What am I? I mean,
yeah,
Ninja
if you
Turtles.
Have your masters.
No,
if you have your masters.
I never called someone Master. Professor of Master. I was like,
that was a joke we used to make to my mom, because my mom got her masters. So we were like, "Oh, do we have to call you Master?"
Master.
now.
Yeah, that would make me turn red. No, but
nobody uses that word anymore. Anyhow,
yeah,
we're not allowed.
I mean, yeah, Professor Itch.
Professor Itch.
Yeah, so
you have to change your name.
Smoke a corncob pipe. Yeah, it'd be cool.
No, you need one of those really nice ones, the like really nice wooden ones, like made out of a good piece of oak or something.
Yeah. No, it's just I went to school later in life, so this means a lot. I was in school. I was like the older kid in the class, and for various reasons, I didn't want to go to school right away. I worked for 15 years in various jobs, but now I like doing this. This is why I love doing this book club with Shiny. I love talking about books. So now I'll be able to do this post-secondary environment. I already work in a college now.
He'll not talk books with me anymore. I'll be too busy.
No way. I'll be on the battlefront of AI with my tweed jacket. But yeah,
he'll just have more stories to talk about.
Oh yeah, of course.
About new ones.
My undergrad
bring them back to Itchy Quarter Book Club.
My undergrad felt like one long book club, and I loved it. I was the annoying one in the class. Like, what are we reading next week? And they were like, "Oh my god."
Like, we just
So,
want a break. And you're like, no, let's go.
yeah, hey, Professor, can you give me some extra homework? I would love to read your dissertation. You do? Then Bidet said, call me Master Tatty. So, but I want to thank everyone for indulging with us. And
Good to have you all.
yeah, we'll have some other couple of stories by next week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, by next week and everything. Yeah. I want to thank it.
Yeah.
Shoot by Daylight is here, and we did a little. If you I've said some words about Shoot by Daylight, my relationship with him, and his streaming endeavors. And if you want to hear that, if you missed that part of it, including I think maybe Shoot missed it too, which is fine.
Yeah.
We do archive our episodes on YouTube, so we'll have that up. I'll try to have that up right away. But thank you again, everyone. We love that you're here. Look forward to seeing you again.
Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.